Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. I normally get very warm, but right, undo my jumper a bit or whatever. Anyway, I shared this picture that I won in a raffle, which I was entered into. Obviously, recently. I meant to share it yesterday, but I didn't get around to it. I forgot as well. But anyway, I forgot, then I didn't get around to it because I didn't finish parts 3 and 4 of my plans for Monday, which I'm hoping, initially at one point I was hoping to do tonight, but I think I'll probably do mine on Thursday when I like to meet deadlines, or next Monday or whatever. But I'd love to be able to go through all my videos and see which ones I haven't done that I wanted to do, and whatever topics I didn't get around to. As I sometimes jokingly say, I'm dyslexic, I need extra time. But the good thing about YouTube and the videos, how they're formatted, is that you can sort of see the titles and when they were made. I hope they don't change that format, because on Facebook it was a bit difficult sometimes to see like videos going back, like which ones I'd made or sometimes they changed the format, which was a bit more helpful. But anyway, at the moment I still haven't got my Facebook channel, so I'm hoping I get it back. But anyway, yeah, I'd love to know what you think about this Batman picture. I don't know if there's any particular artist who drew this, or just a random person or whatever. But I'd love to auction it off and raise money for helping, like, say, neurodivergent entrepreneurs or whatever, something like that, especially in the developing nation, maybe. But anyway, I forgot to do my usual intro. It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video, and welcome to part 1, not part 2, part 1, sorry, brain not working, of I know you could say it's the second day of the week or whatever, but part 1 of neurodivergent Tuesdays. I hope you enjoy it. I didn't get around to finishing parts 3 and 4 last night of NeuroDIVERGENT Monday, and I didn't even get around to any writing. I didn't even get around to any writing today, but and I've struggled with like lighting in my room, so I'm hoping tomorrow for writing Wednesday to finally get some writing done, sort of my paperwork, and decide what I'm going to do on writings and stuff like that as well, and also make videos and do things and plan my day out ahead beforehand. Hopefully, I'm hoping to go to the gym tonight as well, although I'm not feeling too great. But anyway, I'm delighted to have the opportunity though to make these videos, and I hope they last for as long as possible. I think I'm going to stop saying touch wood and say God willing and Godspeed instead, but although I'm not that religious. But anyway, here goes. Sorry, I'm waffling, but it'd be good if I could keep the intro down to a minute or less, 30 seconds to a minute. But that's probably a challenge for me. But number 1, I would love to find out, celebrate and support neurodivergent people, neurodiverse, neurodivergent, whichever term you want to use, in business, and see what we can achieve in business, what neurodiverse people have achieved in business, and what we could achieve in business in the future. Again, I'd love to know, I mentioned yesterday, like, I'd love to know which term you prefer, neurodiverse or neurodivergent. I said in October and December I have to focus more on dyslexia, but in November, like, more neurodiversity generally, how we can network together. I know someone said to me once that they said, when you said neurodiverse, you mean like autistic as well, and that kind of thing. And I said, well, anyone who's neurodiverse, and they were like, oh no, I work with the D's, as they put it. Or she said, we work with the D's, as in dyslexics, dyspraxics, and dyscalculics. I mean, you could add dysgraphia as well, but otherwise you'll have people with different minds. But I think that's the whole point of neurodiversity, that it should include dyslexia, dyspraxia, dysgraphia, the D's, as she put it, and the A's, like ADHD and autism, and whatever other conditions can be related, because the fact our minds work differently to the norm and to each other, different type of minds. Can't seem to get this badge straight, sorry. I'm talking about neurodiversity. Sorry, I put it the wrong way. I struggle with it, trying to sort it out in reflection. It's a bit like a mirror, I can't see. Sorry, but yeah, so she said that, but I'll have to try and win people over, like that, skeptics over. And people say selling is the most important skill in business, or even in life itself. So not just selling a product, but the art of deals and negotiations, I guess, and persuasion and that kind of thing. So I suppose it's to do with psychology and convincing people about an idea or an ideal or whatever. So even if, like when you go to get a job, they say, the scary thing called a job, they say, you've got to sell yourself, as in sell your abilities or whatever, something like that. But moving on, number 2, also in banking, again, I'd love to celebrate historical successes by neurodiverse people in banking and find out about neurodiverse people in banking. And I'd love to do interviews, and I'll be interviewed by, and just general chats, as I said, in October with the dyslexics and members of the Black community. I'd love to work with neurodiverse people generally to ask about their views and talk about their stories and give them a chance to talk about what they get up to and what they've got up to and things like what they've achieved. I'd love to interview neurodiverse people, whether that's people who work in banking, people who run their own businesses, people who work in investing, or whatever other areas. So I have to put the word out there and again, sell it, I guess, sell the idea, so to speak, as best I can. I'm not very good at saying, unfortunately, I've got to admit, but if anyone out there sort of sees these videos and says, yeah, I'd like to be involved, please post in a video if you'd like to be involved in that sort of thing, to get different neurodiverse people's stories and experiences and things like that. So yeah, neurodiverse people in business, banking, and different sort of areas, investing and whatnot. I'd love to get people's stories, and we could interview each other. I'd love to do one-to-one interviews, street interviews, and Zoom chats. Also how we can support more neurodiverse people to get into business, investing, banking, and all sorts of areas like that. Whatever areas that they want to get into that can empower them. And number 3, also in tech. So as I say, business, banking, tech, and those sorts of areas mainly I want to focus on Tuesdays, because I like to focus on certain things for different days for each day. If you see my other videos, you'll know. I'm sure by now. But yeah, on that note, I welcome your views, so please post whatever you want. And also I welcome any subscriptions, anyone subscribing to my channel, anyone liking the videos, sharing the videos, and getting involved in the discussion, of course, comment on the videos and that kind of thing. I appreciate your support for the channel, anyone out there who supports the channel. And also, as I say, sharing and promoting the video and getting involved, and I hope to network with other neurodiverse people, and hopefully people will help me to help myself and to help others as well. One thing I was thinking of is, like, given my use of alliterations, I talked about like neurodiverse or neurodivergent, again, whichever term you prefer to use. Please let me know which one you prefer to use. I'd love to know which term people prefer, as I mentioned yesterday. But I talked about neurodiverse millionaires and billionaires. But it'd be interesting in the future if there were neurodiverse trillionaires. Although I do think we should be philanthropists and give our money away, but I do believe that should be through free choice. I think one thing I forgot to say yesterday is, like, I'd love for us to be able to monopolize and be given the rights to monopolize. And I guess one thing when I talked about in October, was dyslexics and members of the Black community and minorities generally, including people with disabilities, and dyslexia, I suppose, and other neurodiverse conditions that could be classed as disabilities. I would love for us to be tax exempt. I guess I come under 2 minorities, you could say, probably. I suppose neurodiverse and also mixed race as well. And I suppose my specific type of mix is quite rare in the UK, but anyway, I wasn't sure what to mention. I thought I'd mention it anyway, but and I shouldn't say every thought in my mind, but it's one of my quirks. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting if there were neurodiverse trillionaires in the future. But I'd love to make networks for neurodiverse millionaires, or even billionaires, or even maybe one day even trillionaires. Number 4, I'd love for us to network together. And I talked yesterday as well about a network, a neurodiverse network, support network, not necessarily just for business. I know on different days I like to focus on different things. So again, on Tuesdays, I like to focus on like business, banking, tech, and things like that, things I mean with T for tech, but also business and banking and things like that, maybe even teaching and training. I mean, a neurodiverse person might feel that they can be a better teacher because they can relate to people. I suppose it's ironic when you hear of, like, say, a dyslexic teacher, for instance, or an ADHD teacher who perhaps struggled at school but then became a teacher. But I guess I'm more interested in, like, being creative and that kind of thing, although I'm not very good with my hands. But I'm mentally crazy and mad, basically. There's a method to the madness, as they say. But yeah, people who I've heard to be speculated to be neurodivergent, some of them in their own words, are people like Bill Gates, who said he might be autistic. I wonder if Mark Zuckerberg might be autistic. I think that'd be interesting. Like people with Asperger's or high functioning autism, ASD, autism spectrum disorders, or whatever, I guess could be overrepresented at both the bottom ends of society, people struggling to get jobs, struggling to keep jobs, or even get jobs in the first place, and all that kind of thing, all the way through to people who can become billionaires, tech billionaires especially. And I'm sure it's an area where even Bill Gates himself said it's probably overrepresented in tech. Someone asked him and he said certainly overrepresented in tech, neurodiverse conditions. But I thought it's interesting to branch out as well, like from just dyslexic billionaires to neurodiverse billionaires more generally. But Elon Musk said he has Asperger's syndrome. Bill Gates said, had he been growing up in today's age, he would probably be diagnosed with autism. And another thing he probably has is ADHD. So I like to hear from the horse's mouth themselves, I guess. But there's many who are speculated to be autistic or have ADHD or whatever. Well, as they call it, ADHD, autism and ADHD together, which apparently Bill Gates might have. Elon Musk has Asperger's syndrome. Mark Zuckerberg, I think they say, might have Asperger's syndrome, but I'm not sure. Some people even say Warren Buffett may well be autistic, has an autistic-like focus, but I don't know how much evidence there is on that. Richard Branson often talks about being dyslexic, and there are many others that have probably gone for a long time. Maybe we could have a friendly competition between each other as well, like which one is more successful, the autistics or ADHDs or dyslexics. I don't know. Maybe not, but it's just an idea, I guess. As I say, with all these videos, they're about sharing my own ideas, but I often have a lame little joke. Again, I don't know if I should say every thought on my mind because I do want to make the videos a bit quicker, but I say people like Steven Spielberg, who's dyslexic, I say, imagine if he was just going around as a mere billionaire, but then he found out that good news for him, he could join this network. Steven Spielberg, a dyslexic billionaire as well. Apparently, I think it's Johnny Ive, the designer for Apple, is said to be a billionaire recently, to become a billionaire rather. So I'm trying to think of it. I think they say the designer for Nike is also dyslexic. I don't know if he's a billionaire, I don't doubt it. But yeah, normally I think of like in business or running their own businesses as being billionaires or whatever. But Steven Spielberg, I suppose it is called the movie industry. But yeah, I love to have networks for all sorts of things. Like on Mondays, I would focus more on like movies, music, and things, but also banking and business as well. But yeah, on Tuesdays, they're focusing more on business, banking, and tech more specifically. So a network for people, neurodiverse people in tech. In the past, I thought of like a network for autistic people in tech. Even though I only thought I have dyslexia and dyspraxia. In my own case, I just want to say before I move on to point number 5, or maybe I'll say in point number 5. So point number 5, I was thinking I probably could have included like a list of people who either speculated to be neurodiverse and people who say they're neurodiverse. But number 5, I do remember my own thought. I think I have dyslexia. I don't know if I've officially been diagnosed. I also think I have dyspraxia. I'm very clumsy. So it's like difficult to be coordination. I'm not very good at maths, so I do wonder if I have dyscalculia. I'm not sure, to be honest, but I wonder if my mum thinks I might be autistic, but I haven't had to test for that. I was saying I'm not sure how many learning disabilities you can have before you get too greedy. So I could be dyslexic, dyspraxic, possibly autistic. I doubt I have ADHD because I don't really have a lot of energy and that kind of thing. But my attention span is quite low. It would be quite interesting if I had that as well. So dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, autism, and ADHD. I think that's 5 conditions, and dysgraphia, which struggle with writing. But be interesting. I'd love to have a test while I'm making a video. I wouldn't want to have to pay for a test, but maybe even if someone agreed, like said, we'll do this test, which is like a formal test but at the same time, on the condition that we make it into a video and it could go viral and they could get money from that video or something like that. I don't know, make a deal like that. I'm talking about trying to sell. I'm a bit shy, so believe it or not, so I do struggle with selling. But yeah, I'd love to make different groups and different networks. So a network for neurodiverse billionaires, one for neurodiverse billionaires, one for neurodiverse trillionaires in the future if there are any, and even just a general neurodiverse network. So for anyone who is neurodiverse to achieve their full potential, and it not just necessarily in business, or even just about making money generally, like saving money or whatever, finding the best possible deals, giving each other advice and having each other's backs. I think saving time is even better. Well, that means with tea as well. Talking about tea, I've not got a cup of tea for once, I've just finished wine. So anyway, shows I don't really drink tea all day, but it does take me a while to boil down. Sorry, anyway. But yeah, I love to support neurodiverse people with our ambitions. Some might just have ambitions of just making enough to live on. Some might want regular jobs for some reason. Not sure why he'd want that. You got a choice, but anyway, probably not supposed to say that sort of thing. But some might want advice on certain things that help them with their health. I don't know, healthy eating would be something, or whatever it is that they want. But I wouldn't really want to give advice on benefits, even though I'm on benefits myself, because I hope for us to become more independent. I suppose that's what this is about. Although we'd be independent by supporting each other. I suppose you could say no person is an island on their own. No person, no man's an island or whatever, or no person's an island. So we all need help, I'm sure, sometimes, although I'm beyond help. But on a serious note, I wouldn't want us to force the taxpayers to give us money, which is one reason why I'd love to make our own businesses and invest together, because then know what the taxpayers not forced to give us money. So hopefully we can help. I hope I can help neurodiverse people to come off benefits and avoid breaking any laws and things like that. So, but also have the freedom to make choices and to become financially independent. Again, I know it's not completely independent because we'd be a group, but I suppose a better way of putting it is that we wouldn't force anyone to help us. When I turn 40, believe it or not, I might be immature from age, but when I turned 40 3 years ago, unfortunately, I'm getting a bit depressed because I'm how old I am, but I wanted a few things. I wanted to become financially independent, as I would put it, i.e. to have enough money without relying on benefits or anything like that. So I wouldn't want a job, I wouldn't want to steal or break any laws, and I wouldn't want to rely on benefits and force anyone to give me money. I only want people to choose to give me money, even if it's like a charity or whatever. I wouldn't really feel bad about that, because at least I'd be given a choice if I really needed the money. And I suppose money is important, even though I'm not that materialistic. Even just to live in a house and have enough to eat and enough to drink. As some say, it's almost like up there with breathing. As I say, money isn't everything, but it's up there with breathing. But different neurodiverse people might have different goals and aims and ambitions, and I hope to listen to them more and help them to achieve such. Like when I went to a neurodiverse group, and I want that to be every week, but it's going to be monthly. But I was thinking it'd be better to do it weekly, but they decided monthly. But I have to try and remember my train of thought. Sorry, I didn't want to over talk other people, so I wanted to talk about my goals, but I didn't want to over talk other people and talk too much about my goals. Talking about which, I'm going to move on to point number 6. But yeah, the main thing is that helping neurodiverse people to reach their full potential and do what they want to do. Some neurodiverse people might say, "Oh, I'm not really interested in business, banking, or anything like that, or investing, or whatever it might be." And some might say, "Oh, I'd love to get into tech, but I don't know how to do it. I'd love to get into banking, but I don't know how to. I'd love to run a business, but I don't know how to." Or and so, "Oh, I'd love to invest, but I don't know how to," or whatever it might be. I'd love to know how to save money, where I can budget, where some deals I can get which save me money. And again, to me, most importantly, is to save time, budgeting time, which to me, I say, time is money could be Tim. Time is money, but you can also say Tim Am. Probably doesn't have quite a ring to it, but time is money and more, basically. Another acronym is KISS, and some people say it's keep it simple, stupid, but I prefer the politer version, which is keep it super simple, which I do struggle with, as you can probably tell. But moving on, number 6, I'd love to see what neurodiverse people could contribute to Italian footy, which I normally say. I know I want to focus on different things each day, but I always want to focus on seeing what neurodiverse people can contribute to Italian football. And I was thinking of like Mr. T, the Mr. T of Italian football, which is Milan, Roma, and Torino, and helping them to build more footy pitches, academies, training centres, and whatnot in Milan, Rome, and Turin, but also all over Italy. But yeah, for Tuesday, I was thinking of focus on Torino, but I thought it could be. I'd love to benefit Roma every day if I could, but Milan, Roma, and Torino, and I hope to sell the idea, so to speak, to my fellow neurodiverse people. I know I was saying, like, if someone is neurodiverse but they live in Germany or England or Brazil or Argentina, I'm picking on nations basically that love football as well. And it'd be hard to sell the idea to them. It'd be hard to sell to say, especially in Germany or England or Brazil, I imagine, because like they might not have a huge amount of connection, say in England or Germany to Italy, and also in Brazil's case, it's one of the major competitions. But I mean, there are quite a few Brazilians of Italian descent, but they are quite competitive with each other. But because they're two of the top nations along with Germany. But yeah, I hope to sell the idea to neurodiverse people and to Italian footy to say, what if they hosted like World Cup events, miniature World Cups for neurodiverse people in Italy? The idea of that really interests and excites me. And I'd love to see what we can do to fundraise for Italian teams. Like I'd love for Tesla to invest in Torino, talking about Elon Musk and whatnot. And maybe Elon Musk personally to put his money into like either Inter Milan or Empoli or another Italian team, maybe from Roma. But if he had his own investment fund named after his own name, it could be Musk to invest in Milan or Inter Milan or Antwerp or Empoli. Elon to invest in Empoli or something like that. I think that'd be quite interesting. That's my quirky sort of thoughts. I thought, what if we could have a place where we could write and say and talk about whatever is on our mind without worrying about people saying that's a rubbish idea or whatever. So yeah, if we had our own creative rooms, but I've got ahead of myself. But moving on that note to number 7, similar with Celtic. And I hope that by working together we make life easier for each other and invent loads of great things. I talked about robots before and all that kind of thing, but I'm not going to get into too much detail on that right now. I just hope I don't forget anything, but I know I've mentioned it before, so I'm going to move on to number 8. Look for us to have our own creative rooms and support each other as much as we can, have each other's backs and that kind of thing. Number 9, helping each other to plan, prepare, organise our time and things like that. And number 10, supporting young people with neurodiverse conditions. I mean, one of the issues I think with trying to get the balance right, one of the issues is like, I think young people need mentors, role models and whatnot. I think mentors could be really good for young people, including those with neurodiverse conditions. And I think, how can they learn from the elderly? How can they learn from people who have been there and done that? But I guess it's a balance between like child protection and like safeguarding and that kind of thing. So that is an issue about how to ensure that young people are taught in a safe environment. But if they could be deprived of like mentors, teachers, trainers and whatnot, that kind of thing. I suppose it's all connected. But mentors, teachers and trainers and that kind of thing. But because of safeguarding on that. So how do you get the balance right? I think that's a difficult issue. Maybe there could be rooms where there's like CCTV and things like that, so we know the children are safe there. And at the same time, they're getting the teaching and training from neurodiverse people who could teach them. And yeah, I think that's really important to do what's best for everyone else. Again, I was just thinking about another story. I didn't know whether to mention or not. Again, the video's 2.5 times longer than planned already, pretty much. But I was thinking a while back when I wanted to make this thing called the M.K.S United group, which I still kind of do, but I've got different plans for it now. I wanted to talk to someone with dyslexia, this lady, and without thinking, this is, I suppose, where we have to be careful as neurodiverse people to not be misunderstood. I said I wanted to meet that lady on her own because I only wanted people who are like what I call M.K.Sers to be involved in that thing. And I think they got the wrong impression. Because they were like, why don't you? And I didn't really think till afterwards, so that must have come across really bad. But yeah, basically, how do we get the balance right between safeguarding, child protection, making sure everyone's safe, women and children, as well as men and everyone really, and what's best for neurodiverse people, but at the same time making sure they're not deprived of those who can teach or train them. Another thing that actually I just remembered is something I'm going to probably cover in part 2, 3, and trickle 4. Hopefully I'll remember, but I'm going to wrap this up anyway. And peace and love.